No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for May 20th, 2024. We have King and Queen of the Ring this weekend, this Saturday afternoon for people watching in the United States. We also have AEW Double or Nothing on Sunday. It will be a busy weekend. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Now, let's get to Monday Night Raw. We had Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental Champion, come into the ring for a promo. He talked about how he made the decision to have a triple threat match at King and Queen of the Ring so he could deal with two problems at the same time. One problem was personal with Chad Gable, and then the other is business. Bronson Reed, all he cares about is the IC title. Sami Zayn said that this triple threat match is going to be a battle of mind, body, and soul. And Sami said he's always going to bet on soul. That's what won him the IC title at WrestleMania. But before he could finish his thoughts, Gable, along with Alpha Academy, interrupted him. Chad Gable said that his problem all this time is that he has been too nice, especially too nice to the three clowns that were with him in Alpha Academy. Sami Zayn asked Alpha Academy, Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree, how long are they going to deal with his crap? Gable said that not only is he going to beat Sami Zayn, but he is going to take Sami Zayn's soul. Kind of sounds like The Undertaker, if you ask me. But that led to our first match of the evening. Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn. Now, the storyline of this match was that Gable wanted the Alpha Academy to cheat and help him. Tozawa would not cheat. Maxine Dupree would not cheat when they had opportunities. They did not do it. So Sami Zayn was okay, at least for the time being. Maxine could have taken her shot. She did not. Chad Gable ended up kicking them out of the ringside area, and the only one left out there was Otis. Now, after the commercial break, Gable gave Sami some German suplexes, threw Zayn to the outside of the ring, and it was Otis's opportunity to attack Sami Zayn. But once again, Otis did not do it. Chad Gable yelled at him, and then he slapped Otis. Gable then grabbed the IC title. He tried to use it. Hahowever, Zayn managed to give Gable an exploder suplex into the corner. Zayn was going for the haluva kick, but then Otis got on the apron, clotheslined Zayn, and then Chad Gable picked up the win with the Chaos Theory. The referee did not see Otis's interference. Otis finally helped out his man, and the crowd was chanting, "You suck," to Gable's music, which looks like that's going to be a thing now, just like with Kurt Angle back in the day. And there was also a sign in the crowd, "Perk Gable." That's a little reference to Kurt Angle as well. I was very entertained by this match. Like, it was more about the storyline, but this is an effective way to build up the pay-per-view. Gable gets the win over Sami Zayn, but at the same time, you're elevating the Chad Gable and Alpha Academy storyline. Otis always does a fantastic job, and the crowd is sympathetic towards Maxine Dupree. Very entertaining stuff. These guys are all great. This is one of my favorite storylines in WWE right now. We had an Io Sky video package to hype up her match with Lyra Valkiria for the final spot in the King of the Ring on the Raw side. Io, with subtitles, said that Lyra is somebody who has flown too close to the sun, and now Io is ready to be crowned Queen of the Ring. We had the LWO backstage. Somebody attacked one of the guys. I think it was Raul Mendoza, but I'm not sure. One of the LWO members, Cruz del Toro, whatever he's called now. I think it was Cruz del Toro. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. One of the LWO members attacked backstage. So yeah, things were already getting out of control on Monday Night Raw. And then we had a Braun Breaker squash match. Braun Breaker's first match on Monday Night Raw, up against Kale Dixon from NXT. And Breaker, he was just in the corner. He was getting angry, and then he just turned around, speared the hell out of this young man, tossed him out of the ring, and then ran around the ring, gave the guy another spear on the floor, threw him back in the ring. Referee just decided to stop the match, and then Braun Breaker was not done. The referee helped this guy up to his feet, and then Breaker ran the ropes real fast and wiped out the guy with another tackle. And then Breaker put the guy's head in the steel steps, grabbed the chair, and basically gave him a concerto. But instead of two chairs, it was the steel steps and a steel chair. Adam Pearce and several officials were out there. Adam Pearce very upset with Braun Breaker's actions. And then they brought out a stretcher. This guy was taken out of the arena in an ambulance. Kiana James was there wanting to know if Adam Pearce needed any help, and he basically blew her off. And then Braun Breaker told Adam Pearce that Pearce cannot control him. And Breaker said that Pearce not putting Breaker in the King of the Ring is on Pearce, not Breaker. It was a great segment to really establish Braun Breaker as a force to be reckoned with in WWE. I liked it a lot. Braun Breaker, just keep it simple with him. Let him be an ass kicker. It even says it on his tights. So far, so good with Braun Breaker. Nice start to him on Monday Night Raw. And we'll see how angry he gets at Adam Pearce and where this goes next. Backstage, Becky Lynch, the women's champion, had some words of encouragement for her fellow Irish woman, Lyra Valkiria. And then we had our Queen of the Ring semifinal match, Lyra versus Io Sky. Pretty good match here with the ladies. Unfortunately, maybe it's because she's new, but not a lot of crowd heat. But I do think that the crowd got into it as the match went on. Lyra's still getting established with the fans, and it was a back and forth competitive match between these two. We had a commercial break, and then Lyra delivered her tornado DDT, but could not pin Io Sky, and then Io regained the upper hand. Both of them were in the corner. Io delivered a power bomb, but struggled to make the cover. She went for her moonsault, but Lyra was able to avoid it, and then Lyra stacked up Io and got what some people might consider to be an upset victory. Lyra Valkiria has advanced to the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. She is going to Saudi Arabia on Saturday to face the winner of Nia Jax versus Bianca Belair. And by the way, stay tuned. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we will be doing our predictions for WWE King and Queen of the Ring. We will not know the winners of the SmackDown matches, but I think I have a pretty safe prediction. I would go with a heel versus face dynamic. So with Lyra Valkiria winning, makes me think that Nia Jax will somehow pick up the win over Bianca Belair. Could be Bianca. They could do face versus face, but I guess my gut feeling is it'll be heel versus face. But we'll talk more about that Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. We had our next segment, which was R-Truth backstage with The Miz. And R-Truth said he spoke to Andre the Giant, who has their back. And Miz had to point out that, well, Andre the Giant has been passed away for 30 years. We had Ilya Dragunov interviewed backstage, and then he talked about Gunther, but then he was interrupted by Ricochet. Ricochet wants another match with Ilya, but then we had Braun Breaker out of nowhere spearing Ricochet into the production equipment. And Dragunov was very disturbed by this, as was Adam Pearce. We had a Gunther empty arena promo to hype up his match with main event Jey Uso, in the main event, of course. Good promo here from Gunther. He once again used the term professional wrestling. And then we had Damian Priest backstage with the LWO. Carlito was trying to hide from the LWO. The LWO looking for Carlito, and Priest told Carlito that Carlito needs to earn his keep in the Judgment Day. Then we had the return of Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville was backstage talking with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Maybe she wants to manage them. Shayna just walked away, seemed uninterested. But then later on, there was another tease of them possibly working together. More on that in a few moments. Awesome Truth defended their tag team titles against Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Pretty standard tag team match here. Dominic was out there, provided a distraction. Bad guys had the upper hand for a while. And then R-Truth got a hot tag, did the John Cena moves. Things started to break down. We got a double five-knuckle shuffle from Awesome Truth. But then Carlito interfered. R-Truth went for a cover. Carlito put JD McDonough's foot on the bottom rope. But then the man that R-Truth thought was Andre the Giant, Braun Strowman, came out there and went after Judgment Day. And then JD McDonough ran away. He ran into the ring to avoid Strowman. He ended up getting hit with the AA from Truth. Truth scored the 1-2-3 victory. And then Braun Strowman celebrated with them after the match. Glad R-Truth still has the tag team championship with The Miz. But they definitely need to start building up some teams for Awesome Truth. We'll see how long they have that run as champions. Then backstage, Becky Lynch congratulated Lyra Valkiria, walked off, and then Liv Morgan approached Lyra and slapped her. So maybe a little tease for them in the future. We then had Bronson Reed confronting Sami Zayn backstage and said that Zayn doesn't need to be concerned with Chad Gable's mind games. Reed said he's soulless and he's violent, and that's how he makes his money. He walked off, and then Otis came over to Sami Zayn and apologized for attacking him during the match earlier. Zayn said he expected better from Otis, and said that Gable is not a good guy, and the sooner Otis starts listening to the fans and stops listening to Gable, the better off he'll be. And you could hear the crowd chanting for Otis. They're slowly building up this breakup, and we'll see what happens with Chad Gable. More on that in a few moments here. Becky Lynch, the women's champion, came to the ring for a promo, and she was quickly interrupted by Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan said her purpose is to complete the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Becky responded by saying that it only took 10 years of being in WWE for Liv Morgan to finally figure out her purpose. And Becky said her purpose has been known since she was 15 years old. Liv Morgan called Becky selfish, said that the people have Becky's head shoved up their asses, and then Becky basically called out Liv for a fight, and of course, Liv declined and said she'll take care of Becky and win the title this Saturday at King and Queen of the Ring. It was your standard promo. I mean, not too good. It was just, hyping up the match, but your standard build-up, T's getting in the ring, don't do it. We've seen it many times. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, is Liv Morgan going to implode Judgment Day? Well, I definitely think there's something with Liv and Dom. They're just slow building it. I don't think they've dropped it. Rhea Ripley's going to be out for a while. So there's no need to really rush the storyline. But I would suspect we're going to see something with that soon with Liv and Dominic. And we'll see if Liv can win the title or not. Will Dominic be involved in that? Again, stay tuned to the NoDQ.com predictions Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Backstage, we had Damian Priest with Judgment Day. Of course, he was not pleased that they did not win the tag titles back, and then told JD McDonough to ask Adam Pearce for a match with Braun Strowman for next week's show. Xavier Woods was backstage with Kofi Kingston. Xavier Woods has been cleared, and then Kofi Kingston left to talk with Adam Pearce, and Karrion Kross, he's still a thing, and he told Xavier Woods there's still time to turn things around. Now, I don't think New Day's ever breaking up, so this is just another tease that is probably going nowhere, and I don't really care too much about it. The big news here, as TJS pointed out, Karrion Kross has a mustache. There you go. Next up, we had a 4-way women's tag team match to determine number one contenders for Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. We had the teams of Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. Asuka's out injured. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree, and then Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Things broke down earlier. Chance did this keg stand dive to the outside onto everyone, and then after the break, Maxine Dupree came in, got some offense, but then Chance and Carter nearly had her beat with the after party. Dakota Kai, though, tagged in. Things broke down again, and then Chance delivered a super Hurricane Rana to Zoe Stark. Maxine Dupree came back in, applied an ankle lock to Dakota Kai, but Kairi Sane broke it up with the insane elbow. But then Shayna Baszler applied the Kira Fuda clutch to Kairi. Zoe Stark tagged back in, and then Shayna Baszler hit the big knee, and Zoe Stark scored the pinfall victory. So now Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler will get an opportunity at the tag team titles. And then backstage, we saw them in the background talking to Sonya Deville again. So it does look like that maybe there's going to be something, some kind of pairing with them. Match was fine, but the crowd really did not care about it too much. I mean, they like Maxine Dupree. They still don't give a shit about Zoe Stark, but Maxine gets good reactions. Say what you want about her in the ring, but the crowd likes her a lot, and she's a sympathetic favorite. So backstage, we had several segments before our main event. Ludwig Kaiser issued a warning to Sheamus: stay at home, protect his legacy, or else Kaiser might have to put Sheamus down once and for all. Then we had Drew McIntyre backstage for his one segment of the show. He's got his upcoming title match, and he said that Damian Priest is making the same mistake Seth Rollins did, spreading himself too thin, and it's going to backfire on him. They did not confirm Clash at the Castle yet, but obviously that's where it's going. And then we had Chad Gable talking with the Creeds, which seems to be the logical direction. Chad Gable forming a new Alpha Academy once we have the split with the current crew. And then we had Otis coming up to Gable, admitting that he apologized to Sami Zayn, and Gable thought about it and figured it was a brilliant idea to soften up Zayn for Saturday. And then Gable said he got airfare accommodations for Otis. Otis is coming to Saudi Arabia, and they are going to win Gable's IC title, no matter what. And he made sure that Otis said it. So I have an idea where I think this is all going for Saturday, and we'll talk about that again. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Cheap plug for the NoDQ.com King and Queen of the Ring predictions. We finally got to our main event of the evening, Jey Uso versus Gunther. Every time Jey did his punches, the crowd chanted yeet, but then Gunther sent Jey shoulder first into the ring post, sent him into the steel steps, and then continued to work over Jey after the break. Jey's entrance really over. They're still doing the cell phones. It is quite a happening, but Gunther was dominating after the commercial break. He worked over the arm. He was chopping the hell out of Jey Uso. Jey Uso was in a bit of trouble. Gunther came off the top with a top rope splash. Jey was able to kick out of that, and Gunther continued chopping, trash talking. Jey slapped Gunther in an act of defiance, and then Gunther just got more aggressive with his chops. But then Jey Uso busted out a spear. However, the referee got knocked down in the process. Jey went for the cover with an Uso splash. Referee, with a delayed count, allowed Gunther the opportunity to kick out, and then Gunther applied a submission. Jey Uso could not escape. Jey Uso passed out. Gunther is your winner, and the show abruptly went off the air. I wonder if with Netflix we will get more overruns again, because it also, I know Raw is a long show as it is, but like it's pretty annoying when they just go off the air real quick before you can even really digest what happened. And I feel like that was the case here. So Gunther won. I do like the finish of Jey passing out, and it was a clean win. I do expect Jey versus a babyface at King and Queen of the Ring. So I guess that's a prediction for Friday. I suspect it will be Gunther versus Randy Orton. But again, we'll talk about that. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And we got a full panel for that. Should be a fun one. All in all, Raw was good. I give it a solid B. Good show. Wrestling was strong. Flowed pretty nicely. Nothing too stellar as far as storylines go, but I'm really liking the Chad Gable stuff. You know, that was probably a highlight for me this week. I'm very much enjoying that. Chad Gable as a heel, and with the Creeds potentially, that's going to be money. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, solid build for King and Queen of the Ring. I mean, I'm feeling this pay-per-view a little bit more than Backlash. I will say that. It's still very much a filler show, but I do think it's a step above what Backlash was as far as hype. And there's at least a couple of matches on this show that I feel like I'm not super confident when it comes to my predictions. But again, 7 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night, we'll go into more detail on that. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. I'll see you for the next stream, which will be predictions. And then we got Dynamite on Wednesday, and then Double or Nothing predictions Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then SmackDown Friday night, Saudi Arabia. And then we got the pay-per-views on Saturday and Sunday. Then it's back to Raw. So a lot of streams coming up. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Tell a friend, spread the word about the NoDQ.com YouTube channel. Say yes to No DQ. Buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/merch. And I will see you all next time.